Hey everyone, just wanted to make a quick video today to do a few things. One, I'd like to thank those of you who have subscribed to this channel, and to those who have watched my videos, left likes, comments. I appreciate all of that. It's not something I do very much, making videos. It's difficult for me. It's out of my comfort zone. But sometimes there have been games or products that I am really excited about, and I don't see a lot of coverage of them online, so I've sometimes decided, well, if I don't find a video about a game that I'm excited about, I'll just make one on my own. And that's really how this channel started. And I began as a tabletop miniatures gamer. I played Warhammer Fantasy a lot, and Games Workshop, who makes that game, transitioned away from Warhammer Fantasy to some other product lines, and when they did that, I didn't really stick with them as exclusively as I had been, and so I started branching out, and I started discovering all kinds of different games, miniatures games, different companies, and from there I've started finding board games, especially on Kickstarter. You can get some really interesting board games that also heavily feature miniatures. And for a couple years I started backing lots and lots of Kickstarters, so many, and some of them are really big, really popular, and there's lots of videos about them, and some are smaller, more indie projects, and you don't see a lot of coverage. So those are the ones I've wanted to make videos for, which is why you often don't see a lot of activity on this channel, but I do want to make more videos. So I've been thinking a lot about what kind of videos I'd like to make, where I'd like to maybe see this channel go. And for the time being, I'm gonna probably stick to what I've been doing, except I think I'm gonna start covering anything that happens to arrive at my door as far as like unboxings or impressions go. Most of the games that I've backed on Kickstarter were several years ago, or were, and they're delayed, or some of them get delayed for a long time, and then they're going to arrive. But I'm down to maybe, 30 to 40 projects still to deliver, and not everything is games, not everything is miniatures. Most of it is, though. And so that eventually I'm going to run out of new games coming. Once all that stuff arrives, it's very rare that I'm going to be adding anything new, and so I'm not going to be one of those channels that's always getting the new shiny thing and promoting that or talking about that. And so I need to have content that goes beyond just, oh, I got a new game and I'm showing it off or I'm talking about it. So I do paint a lot of miniatures. I've got some of the work in front of me. The Marvel models you see there, I just recently painted. I did a core box. Those are the models from the core box. I had that core box and another, which I painted. One for a Christmas present, one was for myself. And so I just, as I'm painting these models, I'm thinking about the backlog of miniatures that I have, because I've gotten all these Kickstarters. And before I got the Kickstarters, I had all this Warhammer Fantasy. And before, and in between those, I've gotten Kings of War, I've gotten Frostgrave, I've gotten all sorts of other miniatures games. And like a lot of people, it's much easier to collect the miniatures and dream about how they're going to look when they're done than it is to actually paint them. And so I thought maybe it would be fun for this channel if I could chronicle some of that journey of trying to actually paint my backlog of miniatures. And at the same time as I'm doing that, I can talk about those games that they're from. That means that a lot of the time, once I've exhausted the new things coming in, that these videos will probably be about games that have been around for a while. And that's fine. This channel's never been, I've never had ambitions to make this some big popular channel. But just to do the videos that I want to do. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to make the videos I want. I'm going to stick to this sphere of tabletop gaming, So there will be content that will be about board games, miniatures, some board games that don't have miniatures, which, you know, might not be as exciting, but it can be refreshing to get a game that you don't have to dream about the painting and all the work that's going to go into it before you can, you know, really enjoy it. For example, Mysthea there in front of you and above their village attacks. To the right, I have this one, Sea of Legends. Over here, I've got Claustrophobia behind those rule books. All those have miniatures. I have, you know, thousands of these to do, and I had to come to terms with the fact that probably I needed to stop. And I think you go through that a lot if you collect things like this, or you're in any sort of hobby that requires some work on your part. Is you have to limit yourself to what you think you're capable of achieving. And I know what can really help for me a lot of times is recording my progress and making myself accountable. And so I thought I could turn this channel into that, into a way to show you guys what I'm doing, talk about the games I'm enjoying, and that will hopefully help motivate me to do some work. And then maybe if you're also in a situation where you've got projects you're working on, whether it's artistic or otherwise, that maybe it could help you. But I'm still, you know, I'm mostly doing this for my own self and hoping that other people can at least enjoy it. You know, we'll put it out there, see what happens. But again, I want to thank those of you who've been watching these videos, and hope you know that I appreciate you, and I do have more on the way. Thanks. Bye.